What's up, YouTube? This is Thomas's Boxing Talk, and in this video, I'm going to give you my prediction for the Gary Russel Jr. versus Mark Magnifico fight. Now, I'm predicting a TKO victory for Mr. Gary Russel Jr., and here's why. I think Gary Russel Jr. is a much more technically sound fighter. Mark Magsayo, when he's being offensive, I think he's a little bit wild at times. He throws a lot of wide punches while he's opening up and tends to drop his guard in the middle of punching. I think that's going to be a perfect fight for Gary Russell. Another thing is Gary Russel Jr. is a very fast fighter. He has the superior hand speed, and he was considered the fastest fighter in the world at one point. Another thing, Gary Russel Jr. is an incredible combination puncher, a vicious combination puncher. And when they start to trade, I think the volume is going to come from Gary Russell Jr. Now, I do think Mark Magnifico has the superior single punching power, but I just don't think that'll be enough to give him this fight. I definitely can't count Mark completely out of this fight because, you know, he has power. He has a lot of momentum. He's coming off of a very impressive victory over Julio Ceja. So, you know, and he is the seemingly much more active fighter. And I say seemingly because we really don't know what's going on behind the scenes with Mr. Gary Russel Jr. We don't know, you know, what his training is looking like, how often he's sparring. So we really can't, we won't know until we see the fight. So I've got a TKO victory for Mr. Gary Russel Jr. Y'all let me know what y'all think down below. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you hit that like button. Peace.